Well, last week when we talked about this game against the Titans that the Patriots played on Sunday, we had it marked as one of those games that they could and should win. They didn't. But Drake May played well, did he not?
I thought he played really well, but they did not deserve to win.
No.
When you can't run the ball, you can't stop the run, play like that, you get what you deserve. I mean, they were within a play or two from winning the game, but I didn't think they deserved to win.
No.
But,
and the thing that you just mentioned is the thing that Gerard Mayo defined their toughness as, and Tom Brady talked about when Gerard Mayo made the comment that his team was a soft football team. I don't see a team that has become a tough football team. And if he believed that going back a couple of weeks, that they were soft because they can't run and they can't stop the run, and physically they just can't hold up. They can't block and gain the yards when they need the yards. They can't stop the run when they need to slow the game down. They need to stop the other team. They can't do any of it. So if Gerard Mayo was forced to answer that question again, he would have to again say he's got a soft football team. They're a soft team.
So I think for me, so there's two ways to look at it. I would say I'm not going to disagree with you. I think this is who they are. Part of it's based on personnel. If we're going to do the three things, I will tie
Mike's
that.
big three?
I will tie into that if you want me to.
Yeah, go right ahead. Let's get it out of the gate.
Number one, coming in hot. That was some of the worst interior offensive line play that I have seen for the Patriots in a long, long time. And you want to talk about...
Were you covering the team the last time you saw play from the Patriots that poor in the middle of the line?
I don't think so.
Okay. It predates Mike Reiss's coverage of the New England Patriots.
Yes. And it wasn't just the benching of Layden Robinson, who started at right guard. I heard your segment yesterday when I got back, X's and Zo's, when you talked about the decision to start Layden, and I couldn't agree with you more. The center, Ben Brown, I thought in this game we realized why he was available from the Raiders, to put it kindly. And I'm just, we all have bad days. All of us do. I mean, that was not a good day. And I would say the left guard, Michael Jordan, shocking and alarming regression from him. I thought he had been very solid up to this point, but...
And getting Vidarian Lowe back on the left side has not, helped him. See, that's the scariest part of this, is that's their line at full allotment. That's full health.
Whoa.
Without David Andrews, obviously.
And Zoe, I always defer to you on the pure X's and O's stuff, but to me, just a simple stunt. You should be able to handle that.
It's quick. The stunts are almost common sense, because if a guy crosses your face, you got to have contact. It's got to be a chip, a pass off. You don't even have to communicate. It's okay. So I'm supposed to turn right and block. This guy's coming free here. I'm just gonna let him go. You've got to be able to hesitate there, because something's got to be in your mechanism in your head to whoa, I got to chip him to get him ready for the next guy. They're just turning guys loose. The turn and it's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
But someone's got to freaking hold them responsible for it.
And so why?
It's who you putting in.
Well,
they don't have anybody to scare
what happened to City So?
Yeah, where did he go?
Can he play?
Did he just forget how to play?
But they got to do something. I would just put Owenu in at right guard. Start there.
That's what Zoe said.
And that to me, and that was one. And that'll get to number two. Let's go to number two. Coaching. All right, so let's talk about the offensive coaching. Who is the best defensive player on the Titans?
Simmons.
Number 98.
Nose tackle.
It's the only guy we spent any time talking about going into the game.
Is he outside or inside guy?
Inside.
Thank you.
And you took your best offensive lineman and put him on the outside.
Yeah.
Not good. And so that is a coaching decision. And then the two runs in the second. I mean, we've talked about the end of second quarters now all season. Drake May's got it going. Couple completions to Kendrick Bourne. I think it was 14 yards, 9 yards, and then it's 2nd and 1, and the handoff to Hasty, which Michael Jordan got blown up the left guard or just missed his block, and then on 3rd down you can't get a yard with Ramondre because of the number 1 interior offensive line. So I thought.
Why are they running?
Why are they running?
Why are they running on either down?
Exactly.
Why are they running it all there?
I think those are fair criticisms. That's my number 2. And I would say number 3, because I feel like the whole discussion around the team, that's the short term. The game, you're trying to win the game. Those two things stood out to me. Number 3 is the big picture, Drake. I thought Drake was, I know people are going to talk about his turnovers. But to me, I can live with those based on the promise that I'm seeing around it. And I just think he needs more help. and the lack of a go-to guy at receiver is so obvious when you watch that game, right?
That's a tough one. Like the throw-off platform to Pop Douglas when Pop gets his feet in, that was probably his best throw of the day as far as on the move. And that's the one that opened your eyes and said, hey, you got something special here. You got to get this kid help. And that's my biggest takeaway coming from that game is you got to get help. And why wait till next year? Why not do it today? Why not go get him a little help today, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a receiver? And it doesn't have to be somebody great. Somebody that's just come in and perform as a pro. Like, your two pros, Thornton and KJ Osborne, couldn't even be active on the day. And those are your veteran wide receivers.
I think it sounds like both of you guys believe that even with all the problems they have on the offensive line and in protecting and being able to move the ball on the ground, that if they had a go-to receiver, that it's enough to flip a game. It would have been enough to flip this game in the Patriots' favor, even with all their other problems on both sides of the ball. That one player could be a difference maker to help this team win more games between now and the end of the season.
It's like the Calvin Ridley catch on third down as you're driving there. Like,
great play.
That guy can play, huh?
Yep. Perfect defense called. You got your best corner on him, locked on him.
Yep.
And it's just a really good throw, but it's a better catch than it is a throw because of the guys hanging on him. Gonzalez is there, and that's just two guys making a play. And that's the go-to, keep the drive, game winner that they had, and we did.
So like 3rd and 1 before halftime, you'd have that guy on the field, in those situations. And you'd have him on the field when you were driving late, even though you were able to complete that pass to Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. You would have this guy out there.
Or a shifty guy
to be able to make plays.
Right. Like, you don't even
that goes along with Drake May keeping plays alive for as long as he needs to.
Ramondre's a battering ram. Like, you don't have a shifty shake-up guy. Gibson's more of what like Ramondre is, and Hasty's he's not ready yet. Like, you don't have that Pollard type back. Pollard could catch screens. He could stop and go. How about the touchdown run I got called back? He just almost broke Device's legs on that one.
Could it be Pop? Not in that role, but could Pop be the guy? That in the he doesn't play outside.
The problem
he's inside. He's not.
It's like he gets lost inside during games, and I think he gets actually lost in the flow of calling the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like once you're outside, Bourne's got a couple, and if I'm Drake and I hit 2, guess what I'm doing on my 3rd? I'm going back to the guy because it gives me a little more confidence. Yeah. I'm more comfortable throwing to him. He doesn't look comfortable throwing to Pop yet. I thought he was comfortable throwing to Polk. Polk just went in the tank.
They got to figure that one out. So that would be actually where I might disagree with you a little bit, though, in terms of going out and getting a guy.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see him do more Polk and more Baker, and just be like, let's just see what it is.
I thought we were going to get Baker up and running in this game. That's the impression I had.
3 snaps, and
that's not enough.
And I think when they have Booty and Bourne as their top 2 receivers, it's just not.
Booty
there's
played
nothing.
His way into it. To credit to him, he was on the outside looking in.
But to me, he'd be so much better with an A+ on the other side, right?
Yes.
And I thought the play to me that stood out, and I'm curious if you guys saw it the same way, if you remember it, where I thought to myself that May needs a guy. It was on the strip sack. He was looking for Kendrick Bourne on the left sideline, and I thought, based on what May saw, the defensive back sort of giving up the sideline.
Yeah.
I think he wanted Kendrick on the out, and I think Kendrick turned it upfield instead, which forced Drake to double pump it, pull it down, and by the time he pulled it down, Arden Key was there to knock it away. And I just thought to myself, that's a quarterback and a receiver that maybe aren't seeing the same thing. Is that fair?
There was also the one where it almost got intercepted. Drake threw it inside.
That was the obvious
Bourne said it after the game. I screwed him on that. So I think he was trying to go back shoulder.
Did you think they should have considered that in that moment?
I absolutely love this conversation because I could tell you passionately, absolutely they should have considered it. I can also tell you passionately that they made the right decision. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. So which side do you want me to play, Beetle? And then we'll go. Go both sides.
You go with whatever you believe.
Right.
I mean, you say that passionately they should not have. That they should have kicked the point and lived to see another day.
Yes, and so that's what I probably feel more of. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if you feel otherwise that you're wrong. And here's why.
I'm kind of with you in that I have an answer for both sides.
Yeah,
so
and
go ahead.
It's and that's what makes it so fun, right? Like, to me, one play, your offense against their defense, when your offensive line is, especially on the interior, has been eaten up by that defensive line, and your receivers are having trouble uncovering consistently, like, what are you going to run? Like, that would be my question. Like, you're probably going to roll Drake out and hope he runs it in himself.
Right. Yeah.
You're certainly not handing it off, right?
No,
absolutely not.
No.
So to me, it literally comes down to, like, what play do you have that you feel good about? And
so you had to have it on Friday. You practiced your 2-point play on Friday.
Yep.
I talked to Gerard Mayo today. You can see this on Patriots All Access Friday night.
Good tease, though.
And he said, hey, we got multiple people in on this. We knew the situation.
Yep.
We were talking about it during the drive.
Yep.
I made the decision to go for one.
Yeah.
So he
made the decision to go for
but
one.
he told you that during the play.
Told me during the drive, we were talking it out through it, and he just felt at that moment, get the team to overtime and let's go. And let's go.
Okay, but so is he saying that they were talking about the play they would run if they were going to do it?
They had a play. They all have a play.
Okay, so they have the play.
They practiced it on Friday. You got the play. It just felt that moment. And I conveyed it to him, too. Like, me and the broadcast, Bob and I will talk the situation out throughout the play.
What did you say?
And I said, it never entered my mind.
To go for two.
Yeah.
Wow.
To go for two. Because
Wow.
we did talk about it.
So, Mike, I think a team that has its stuff together and is buttoned up, well coached, thinking about these things ahead of time, having not only the thought, but the play ready to go and the personnel ready to go, should go for it in that situation, especially with a team that struggles to move the football and has a low chance of getting the ball, driving the field, and scoring in an overtime, right? They don't score much to begin with, so I don't know why you'd think your chances of winning the game would be so much better in overtime. Are you even going to get down here again, even if you do win the toss? It's a question about this team. So I think that has to be considered. But I think the reality of the situation was not only I get it, the guys were gassed. 12
And I wonder if London scared him.
I wonder if I should believe Gerard Mayo that they were talking about it and planning for it and had a play ready to go. It's easy to say that 2 days later. Oh yeah, we considered it, but I just thought it was better to go to overtime. Why? Based on what? With this team, was it better to go to overtime? And based on what with your offense in this game, was it better to go to overtime?
And here's the answer that I think is often overlooked, and it's sort of from the Bill Belichick school of coaching, in my opinion. What is overlooked is the first play of overtime was one of the Patriots' best plays in the game. Brendan Schooler came down the field like a frickin' missile.
Yes. Yep.
And he delivered a blow on that kickoff returner that dislodged the ball. The ball was it was loose, and it bounced right into the hands of another Titans player. If that ball bounces another way and you recover it, Joey Sly's come on the field and kick a field goal. You're winning the game. So what is overlooked is you're putting your kickoff return unit on the field, setting up them to return. That's a weakness of them. Schooler's one of the best players in the league. It actually worked. You just didn't get the bounce. Yep. Or you're relying on your defense to not do what it did, which, again, I understand is risky. Yep. However, you had a 3rd and 5 with your best player on defense, Christian Gonzalez, matched up against Ridley.
Yep.
And Ridley won. And that happens, though, right?
Yeah.
That good player against good player, they're going to make some plays, too. But that could have got you off the field, and you maybe could have had a punt return with your other best player, Marcus Jones, who was on fire. So I think that's the thought process of kicking and going to overtime. You're factoring in special teams as well, getting you back down there.
But they also picked the wrong way to go in terms of the wind, which would point to an operation that isn't exactly buttoned up.
I think that's true.
They said the wind changed. I never, like the big flags up top, I remember it blowing right to left the whole game.
Can you imagine if Sly had lined up for a field goal in that OT and he misses it because they're kicking into the wind?
It
seemed, missed one.
And I mean,
the ball went up and it died right.
Right.
Yeah, and so it seems to me like that was a missed detail. But
kind of a big detail, Mike.
The only thing
there were a couple shank punts in this game that got affected by the wind.
There was also, but I will say there was also a very good punt zone in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like the wind. I might.
Where were you, Mike? You were out there.
Before the game.
You were out
before
there.
The game.
Oh, before you didn't have a chance to do it in game. All right.
So I didn't feel
that's
like
a detail you wouldn't miss.
But I appreciate you saying it. But I do. But I actually want to say, and I'm curious what you guys think on this. The wind, the pass. What did we're talking about the wind and the final interception.
Yeah.
So that pass did hang up there. But I actually felt like it was more about Drake's mechanics than the wind. If you watch it again, he drops back and he sort of fades to his right out of the like almost instead of dropping straight into the pocket, he fades to the right where Austin Hooper had chipped a defensive end before releasing, and the center, which goes back to what we talked about at the start, bad interior offense line, just sort of like is in no man's land. Instead of going to attack, the end who had been chipped, and Drake sort of faded into the defensive end, so he couldn't get as much into the throw. I actually thought I wonder if he had dropped straight into the pocket and got everything into the throw, if he would have led Booty into the end zone for an amazing touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw the same thing.
Yeah, I just think that backside safety had it played.
You thought he had it played anyway? Okay.
Yeah.
I trust Zoe. Take away everything I just said. Strike it from the record.
No, you're right. You're right as far as, okay, it's forcing him to maybe throw it earlier because of the pressure. You can't get everything into it. The wind, factor it all in together. Like, you had 4 things working against you. The problem was that was first down. It should have been conveyed to him. Unless Van Pelt's telling him, hey, take the shot here. Yeah. If they're telling him take the shot, that's problematic because I think first down, drive starter, rhythm, 6-yard throw. Let's go. Let's get him in rhythm. Yeah. Get him to Bourne. He was moving the ball with Bourne. That's what I think you take from that and learn next time you're in that situation. No more launching balls.
Mike, Dan Graziano says that Kendrick Bourne remains available today. How active do you believe the Patriots could be ahead of this deadline, which is coming up in 4.5 hours?
It's hard. I don't think so. That would be my hunch, that nothing happens. That would be my hunch. I don't know for sure. And on Kendrick specifically, I'm conflicted. I don't know where you guys fall on it. I think he's a good culture guy, and I think culture's so important, especially when you're 2-7.
For that room, for that receiver room, they need him.
I feel that way, Zoe. So unless you're telling me that what's coming back is at least a 5th-round pick, and I'm not even that excited about a 5th-round pick.
Not anymore.
Like I would recommend against it personally. I would say more Osborne or Thornton. My whole thing is, would anyone give you anything for them?
No,
probably not.
No,
probably not.
Who's leading the young crew of misfits? That's Kendrick's going to be the leader of that group. You need him. You need him.
That's sort of the way I feel.
I don't think they're not moving anybody.
I mean, I would honestly, if you had a chance to give up Osborne or Thornton for conditional 7th-round picks,
you're probably doing it, right?
I'd clear them out.
Yeah, they were inactive. I mean,
what's the point?
Play the kids,
and that's
going to get the other guys more reps in practice. Because those guys are going to get reps in practice over the young kids.
We saw the social media post from Osborne.
Yep.
Has he been noticeably unhappy? Is it known that he's unhappy? Is he one of those guys in the room that, can sort of be a downer because he's not happy with his role and how it's worked out here?
So it's both, Beetle. So it's clear that this has not worked out for him or the team, and I think he's going to be honest.
Not a fit.
He's going to be honest when asked about it. But I will say, and the Instagram post to me was his one thing that he did that was lack, and call it what it is, maybe a lack of professionalism because it draws attention away from the team. But I would say overall, like, he is a professional, and he's been able to compartmentalize that from what I've seen and help the young guys be excited for the young guys. And so it can be both, Beetle. It can be that, I believe he would like to not be here anymore. But I don't think that's affected his attitude, is what I'm trying to say around the young receivers.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.